we had, which is let's start then, and I'll go straight into the sheet that we had, which is the recipe. You have that right, Salita, or you downloaded the other one also?
I downloaded it.
Okay.
Dependent one and the recipe both.
Yeah, no, let's take the recipe dashboard first, okay? And we'll go to the menu master table, and I just want to quickly show you all the forms thing again. Basically, I will go through the concept of tables also. Let's just say I want to make a table here. So first I put the, okay, let's open a new tab so that there's no confusion, okay? Let's say serial number, invoice number.
Are you sharing something?
Roy, thank you so much for how come I forget that? So silly. It's okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so what I did was I opened a new sheet. It came here, but I'll just push it. Oh, it doesn't go. Okay, I just moved it to the end. Okay, so serial number, invoice number, invoice date. I don't have information, but I just want customer name. Product, quantity, unit rate, amount. Okay, now this is a pretty standard table for selling. So invoices. Okay, so what we can do to create a table is even before we have information, I hope this works out. We can just highlight the headings, okay, and then go to data, okay, data, and then, where is this? How come I never find it? Sorry, not data, insert. I hope it's insert. Insert, yeah, sorry. So not to data, but go to insert and then say table, okay? And in that you have pivot table, recommended pivot tables. This is a subject that I'm not strong on, but it's very heavily used in Excel, okay? But here we have the thing that we can do. So just click on table after highlighting the heading, okay? And then it'll ask you, is this where your data is, which is A1 to H1, which is exactly the area that we selected. And we have to tick that my table has headers, okay? If you say okay, then the table gets created and we can just drag it down, I think, okay? Yeah, okay, so we have the table created, okay? Now, let's go to the, go anywhere inside the table and then go to somewhere here, okay, no, somewhere here. What do you know where it is? We can go, sorry, more commands, okay? So I went to the small arrow on top, more commands, okay? And here, don't go to the quick access toolbar, but go to customize ribbon, okay? And under customized, so this was where the problem was. Last time we put it under the quick access toolbar and the form icon came up, but when I clicked on it, nothing was happening. So go to the customize ribbon and instead of popular commands, say commands not in the ribbon, okay? Or all commands, either one is fine, but all commands, yes. Okay, there are a couple of microphones open at the same time, so too much noise. One of them has to be shut, okay? Yeah, go ahead. Who was that? Hello? Okay, let me continue. Okay, you go to, I'll cancel it and go back, okay? We are inside the table. You saw how I created the table, okay? Then inside the table, you go to, here, you go to the top green part where it says customize quick access toolbar, and then you just go to more commands, and it's automatically for the quick access toolbar. Now the green part is the quick access toolbar, okay? But we don't want that. We want to add it here in this area. So we go to customize ribbon, and under customize ribbon, you should choose commands from commands not in the ribbon already, okay? And then it gives you a list. Then you go to F for form, okay? And then you add it. It gives you a message saying command needs to be added to custom groups. To create a group, pick a tab in the list and then click new group, okay? So let's say I would put it under data, okay? This one, I'm selecting data and I'm saying new group, okay? And so it's added a new group there. And now I add the form, okay? So under new group, which I could have renamed, okay? In fact, I will, okay? I will rename it to data entry. Okay, sounds fair, right? I don't want to put any icon, okay? I don't want to confuse something. So anyone has a problem with this so far? I'm going to say, okay. Right? And what happens then is under, remember I put it under data, okay? So if I click under data, on the extreme right, you see the form, okay? Right, so inside this, I can just click the form. Oh, thank God. Okay, so exactly what the headings we put there have come here. It's already selected on new record. So let me say one. Go back up there. One, invoice number 2104060001. I like to give numbers like that. Invoice.
Can you zoom in the screen?
It's too small?
Yeah.
That's because your screen is too small. Mine is a 28-inch screen. It can't be too small. Okay, why is it not allowing? Okay, maybe big. Let me just close this and try. The beginner.
Fine. It's okay. It's okay.
What's okay?
I figured it out. Yeah. Okay.
You figured it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because now I don't want it to. Okay, so I have to go back to inside the thing, and then I click on form. Okay, it's still on the first one. This should not have given that number, but never mind. Invoice date is 6th of April 21. Okay. Let me just close this, expand it a bit. Okay. And I'm just going to center it. Maybe. Okay. Fine. Now, because I didn't complete it, let me just go back and click form again. Okay. Data, form. It's still on that. Okay. Customer name is budget. Okay. Product is sushi. Quantity, he eats a lot. Okay. 500. Okay, the total amount is 15 KD. All right. So if I press enter, the whole thing gets entered. Okay, and then you are on to the new record. Okay. So you can keep pressing enter, and it'll. Let's say now I go to 2. Okay. Invoice number is 2104. Sorry. 2104.
Is it possible to input formulas into anything in the table?
Into this form? No, it's only for data entry. Well, I'm not sure. Let's try it. Okay, let's try that. We can do the amount as a formula. Okay, let's try that. Invoice date is the same thing, 6. 4/21. Customer Sarita. She goes for noodles. Okay. She has only 1. Okay, let's say she has 3. Let's just check it. And the unit rate is 2,750. Let's try that. I'm not sure, to be honest. Okay. I don't think so. I doubt it. quantity times unit code. And enter, no, okay, cannot enter a formula in the data form. But what you can do is not have this at all, okay, well, you can't, you can just leave it empty, okay, and press enter. And you can put the formula here, okay, just say close to this, and you can put the formula here equals this times this. Okay, so that'll work. So you don't put the amount and you put the formula, you just copy this formula down. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, right. It just gives 0 in the beginning. Okay. If you want to keep it neat, one of the things I do to keep things neat is, okay, now it is giving 0 here. So what I can do is if we have not looked at the if command yet, but if this particular function equals 0, then I want to have just a space there. Otherwise, I want to put that function. Okay. So I got to repeat that, unfortunately. There is a way that you can do it without repeating, but I'll have to look it up. Actually, we can try that also. So you guys learn that. Okay. Okay. See, now there's a space there. Okay. But the formula is still there. You understand? So it looks much neater that way. Right?
Yeah.
So let's forget the form for the time being. Let me just type it in, okay? 06003 and same date, 6th of April 21. That's me this time. Ajit, what do I order?
Tempura.
Yeah, just 2 for me. 1.75. And you see the formula comes in, okay?
Yeah.
So you can do that. Okay, now all of you all saw how to do the data entry form, okay? So I'm not going to go there again, okay? One of the, so we'll go to data validation straight away from here. Unless if you've got questions, of course, we can take the questions, okay? This could have worked for any existing form also. As I said, you could have just gone here and click form, and it would automatically pick up this one, okay? It's got 1, 2, 3. See, somehow it knows that the first item is all the same. So it's not even asking you, you can't fill it up, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So it seems it's an intelligent form. So since all of the first column is mucky, it's not asking you to fill that in, okay? All right, if let's go to new, even under new, it's not asking. So let's say I do MAK 033, which is the next number. Item description is and salmon salad, right? What is it? Salad, huh? Maki. Okay. Item price 2,500. Now just press enter. See, it's automatically put in Maki. Okay. So that's, I guess it's intelligent. I don't know what else to say. It's not aligned and all that we can sort out later. That's not a problem. Okay. So basically, this is a form where if you've got a huge table and you've got maybe 250 or 2,300 records, then it's better to have something like this because it will automatically append it at the bottom. And otherwise you'll have to go and search for the last line each time. Okay, now if you want to find something, let's try that. It says criteria. Category description, we're not going to go, okay, because it's already mucky, we know that. Item code, no. Item description, I'm just going to put avocado. Let me see what happens. Is the spelling right? Yeah. And then I press enter. Nothing happened, right? Let me try that again. I think I have to. Avocado.
No, it's
find next, okay?
No, spelling is wrong.
No wonder.
AVOCADO.
Right off, no wonder. Okay.
That's the spelling in the Table. That's why.
Okay, it's still not finding.
Avocado.
Okay, did it find it now?
AVO.
AVOCODA.
Oh, Katavi.
AVOCADO.
AV.
Kodo. Kado.
പുതിയ കണ്ണാടി പഠിക്കുന്ന സമയം.
Okay.
Find next.
Let's say find next. Not happening, right?
Oh.
Avocado. Should come under criteria.
The new line got added on to line number 35.
Yeah, that was a mistake. That's okay because I pressed form or something like that. This should have come. Not sure why. Okay, I'll check that later. Okay. Basically, we've just learned now to add data into forms. Okay. Add data to tables using forms. All right. And as I said, if as Anu said, her name, sorry. Okay.
Anju.
Yeah, as Anju said, if we need a column with a formula, there's no need to input that. It should automatically have it. Okay. So that's tables and inputting forms. I don't have anything else I can talk about tables. In our data validation, I'll show you how tables are more relevant than just having a database. Okay. So we'll go to data validation now, and we'll close this one. Okay. Should I save it? No, I won't save it. All right. And I'll share the other one now. The other sheet. Okay. All right. Minimize everyone. Okay. Now what we're going to do is look at the subject of data validation, which is just trying to make sure that people are limited to entering what you would like them to enter. You know, like for example, let's say like here, for example, they've got three divisions. Okay, productivity division, games division, and game division and utility division. Okay, and there is we're going to make a table here. Let's say division. Okay, and what is the other one? And they've got all these apps under each division. Okay. All these are apps under the productivity division. All these are apps under the game division. And all these are apps under the utility division. Okay, so we want to have app. I'm just going to call it app. Okay. Now, what I want is when I put the division, I should have the apps coming up. Okay. Let me actually just show you all the division part first, then I'll come to that. Okay. Now, what I want is for the person inputting, I don't want them to just type anything. I want to give them the option of these three. Okay. So then what I do is I go just below that and I go to data, and there is a small icon here called data validation. Okay. You need to click on that data validation. Okay. And then it's got multiple things. Click on data validation again. Okay. And then this screen comes up with settings, input message, error alert. I think we looked at it briefly the other day. And here under division, we don't the current setting is any value, which means you can type anything there and it's not going to validate it. Okay. But now I want to put not a list actually. I want to put okay, a list. Okay. So I'm going to put a list, and I can actually type it out here, which is productivity, comma, game, comma, utility. Okay. And if I say okay here, what's going to happen is this then has the option for me to select any of them. Okay. And I can just, I think, copy it down. Let me see what happened. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. I copied down the same formula goes down. So I get the same thing. Okay. Right. So it's possible to select whatever the person who designed the sheet has limited you to. So if you make a, if you type something in else, let's say on division, okay, it gives you its own error. The value doesn't match the data validation restrictions defined for the cell. Okay, we can do cancel and retry it, and then just go there and select utility. Okay. Now the other thing about this is let's just take all of that. Okay. Go back to data validation. It gives you that same thing. Now what we can do, let's just leave that there for the time being. There are also input message and error alert. Input message, we can say input department, okay? Input division, sorry. And then be a little bit more nice about it, please input division. Okay. So when you go to each cell, actually I did that only for those three. Okay. It will give you that that input message comes, okay, with the title and the text. You don't need to have the title. You can go and let me just, because sometimes it's an overkill. In fact, the whole thing is an overkill. I don't use it at all. Okay, I can just say, so then it just gives you please input your division. Okay? Right, and in case you type something else, you can have an error message that pops up, which says, sorry, wrong input. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so if I try Mohan again, it should say, sorry, wrong input instead of the message that came. Maybe the other one was better. But anyway, these are the options you have for input message and error message. Okay. Now here, let me just delete all this now. Okay. And go back to the data validation. Okay. Actually, no, before I go to the data validation, yeah, okay, go back to the data validation. Sorry, cancel. Let me just go in there first.
Is it possible to,
yeah?
Is it possible to select the cells instead of typing them out like you did?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to show. In fact, that's the only useful way. The other one is just, you know, for very limited yes or no kind of answers, not otherwise. Okay. Okay, sorry, settings. So instead of this, okay, I can just go to, okay, and say, okay, now I selected the three things. The only thing now you'll get division also input. Okay. Right now, if you go, you'll get the division also, because that's, so you can actually enter your list anywhere. Let me see if I've got something like that I can show you. Yeah, actually for Ajit's thing, it was there, right? Why did I close it like that? Are you seeing this? No. The recipe sheet. Are you seeing the recipe sheet?
Yeah,
You are. Okay. So if you remember the first sheet, we had a drop-down list here. Okay. Are you seeing this? Oh, by the way, if you want to speak temporarily, and if you're on a computer, you can hold down the space bar and talk. As long as the space bar is held down, your microphone is on. Okay. So are you seeing this?
I think your screen is frozen. Because you're seeing,
what is it showing now?
it's showing dependent drop down.
Okay, that means I got to stop that then, yeah. And then I got to open that separately. Okay, no problem. It's okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we have two drop-down lists actually. This is also a drop-down list. This is also a drop-down list. Okay. Now this is, if you remember, we saw this. Okay, desserts, and then under desserts I can choose three of these things, and if I refresh, something should happen. Okay, you get the recipe here. Okay, so this is where I have used the drop-down list, but it's a little bit more advanced because the second drop-down list is a conditional drop-down list based on the previous selection. Okay, so we got to see how that's done. And to be honest, I have no idea. So let me just go and have a look.
That's very exciting.
Mosha.
I was looking forward to this.
Okay. Indirect P3. Where is P3? Okay, let me just open up the hidden cells. Okay. Right. Where is P3? I'm sorry, not here.
Right?
LMNOP. Okay.
So, yeah.
See, what happens is I've given the drop-down list here, okay, for the first category. Okay, and if you look here, if you go to data validation, okay, what does it say now? No. What? Should have, I think because it's a blank here. No, it's not a blank. Okay, M3 to M8. This is M3 and this is M8. Okay. So this is the list that I've already selected. Okay. So just this M. Okay. Nothing else. Okay. So it picks up one of these. If I go here, I'll have all these for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should have. Okay. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And that's coming from here. I've just put it somewhere outside where it doesn't obstruct the person using it. That's why I hid it. Okay. Because it doesn't make sense to show all this stuff to somebody who's only interested in this sheet. Okay. So it picks it up from here. But then the second part is this one is dependent on what was selected earlier. Okay. And the other sheet, she has that, and we'll go to that now. But let me see if I can remember how I did it here. So under data validation, if I go for that one, it says indirect pre, it's still a list. I chose a list, okay? And it says my source for this list, this drop-down list is indirect P3. Okay, now what is P3? I'll explain those dollar signs later. P3, P1, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, P3 is DES recipes. Okay, now notice if I choose Maki, that changes to MAK recipes. Okay, and if I choose something else, salad, it changes to SAL recipes. Okay, so it is giving me a name here, which I have defined earlier. Okay, and that definition goes to, I believe there is a way to find it. If you guys can bear with me now, there is something called a name manager somewhere here. Is it under home? No, review.
It's in formulas.
Yeah.
Formula. Yeah, okay. Under formulas tab, there is a name section, okay, defined names. So if I go to name manager, I've got a lot of names, okay. But you see what is the one that came here? SAL recipes, right? So let's go to SAL recipes. Okay, and it gives us the, let's push that out. Okay, SAL recipes is a defined name which shows that, in fact, I just put down the names here. I don't know where I got it from, okay? So when I put SAL recipes, it goes and picks up this information, okay? And where is it picking it up from? Okay, menu master, salary, item description. If you go to menu master, I don't know if I can do it now. Okay, menu master, salary, item description, okay? So it is picking up, this whole area is called SAL recipes, okay? So when I choose salad here, this name becomes SAL recipes. And this particular drop-down list says, okay, get me the data that is under this name. That's what it's saying, okay? In other words, when it says indirect P3, it says, get me the information that is stored under this name, Sal recipes. And that we saw just now was in the range, in this particular range. So that's why you will get Caribbean crab, crispy salad, rock and roll shrimp, wasabi chicken. I hope we're right there. Caribbean crab, crispy salad, rock and roll shrimp, wasabi chicken, okay? So that's conditional validation where you refer to a name always. Let's just go back. We'll close this sheet and go back to the sheet of Laila Garani. I've got to go back to share now. Okay. Dependent drop-down list. Share. Okay, let's see what she has done here. If let's just go here and say utility division. Okay. And here then now I have everything related to utility. See, this is the utility division, commuta, inflict, accord, blah, 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 all that stuff, okay, all the way to Strex, okay. Whereas if I had chosen game division, okay, then it will have fighter, cryptist, blah, 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 etc., all the way to arcade, okay. So depending on what is being input, this selection is changing, just like we had it for the recipe thing. But let's see if her way of doing it is the same, okay? So I'm in this column now, and I'm going to data validation to see what, okay, she's got something else, okay? She's not got indirect, okay? In fact, it's got a very complicated one. Yeah. I can't even read the whole thing.
Offset.
It looks terribly complicated, doesn't it, Ajit?
Yeah. I'm asking my wife if she knows about it.
Oh, okay. It gave me actually what is under that. Oh, still giving me the same thing. Okay. I'm not able to copy the formula. Okay, that's a bit of a complicated formula. You don't need to do that. Let me just do the same thing that we did. I'm going to name this area, okay? I'm selecting this entire range, okay? And I'm going to, where was it? Under formulas, right? Okay, define a name, okay? It's already chosen this because I've already, because I've already selected it. It's shown the selection, okay? And I'm just going to call it productivity, right? Yeah. Okay. Then I'm going to call it game. I'm going to call this utility. All right. Now, if you go to name manager now, you'll find that these three are now there. Okay, game, productivity, and utility. It is giving the values as well as from where it's being picked up. Okay. So now, if because she's got a different formula, let's just change that. We'll keep this the same because that's simple. Okay. For this one, we are going to say data validation. Actually, let's just go back to name manager. Okay, formula, name manager, and edit game. I'm going to say game div exactly as she has it there. Okay, so that I don't need to write it somewhere else. I'm hoping that'll work. Okay. You can't have a space.
Underscore.
No, can't have a space. Okay, just leave that for the time being. Okay. Right. Okay. I need a workaround so that when the game div is selected, okay. Alternatively, I'll just remove this div from here. It's easier for me. but we can also do it another way. We'll show it later. Okay, so if you go now, it will not have the div there, okay? Productivity. Okay, now here what I want to do is data validation, data validation. I want to say, I don't want offset, okay? I want to say equals indirect, open bracket, I think. And I want to choose this one, okay? And I'm pressing enter, okay? But if you notice, each of the cell reference is actually A10, okay? A10, but it's got a dollar sign in front of the A and a dollar sign in front of the 10. What the dollar sign means is keep that constant without changing it, okay? Now, if we keep it constant, then it'll work only for this row, okay? So what I want to do is I want to keep the A column constant, but I don't want to keep the row constant. So every time I copy the formula down, it should go to 11 and 12, etc. Okay. Now let's just try. Okay, there we go. Oh, not bad. Okay, right. Productivity, it gives me the options. Okay, voltage. Now I'm going to copy this formula down. Mind you, this formula is not this formula. This was something else. You remember? It had offset and stuff like that. We can look at offset later. Okay. I'm just going to copy this formula down. And that didn't work either. Okay. Why didn't not work?
So dollar you didn't change.
Sorry, I should have copied only the data validation. Copy. A special validation. Okay. Let's take this out. Okay. Now I go to game. Hopefully it should give you the game things. There you go. Okay. And I go to utility. Okay. And it gives me all the utility things. Okay. So that is how you get conditional drop-down lists. Okay. And you can have multiple ones like that if you want. Normally you wouldn't have cases going beyond 2. Okay.
What exactly does indirect do?
What indirect does is it goes to the source of the name. Okay. What we are saying is the only way we can refer to this list, okay, is by name. Okay. So if you choose utility, then what you're telling the validation control is, okay, if it's utility, then I want you to give me this as the drop-down validation. Whereas if it's game, I want you to give me this as the drop. Did I show the same thing? Okay. This as the drop-down validation. If it's utility, I want you to show me this as the drop-down validation. And if it's productivity, okay, I want you to give me this as the drop-down validation, which is what it's doing. Okay. So how that is doing that is by going to the name. I gave it the name productivity, game, and utility. And under that name, it is got the list. The details are already there. If you go to review formula, name manager, see, it's got the game refers to this particular range, G5 to G16. Okay, G5 is here and G16 is here. Okay. And productivity refers to F5 to F19. Okay, F5 to F19. So by saying indirect the name, indirect game, in other words, okay, it will go there and pick up this information. What it's saying is pick up the information under the name. That's the concept of the indirect formula or whatever. Okay. Roy, you didn't know this?
No, I didn't know that.
Very good. Then you have a school Okay. Now offset, I don't really know. This is a simple case of having only three divisions, and under each division different applications. So and obviously after that you might want other information that you want to input. Okay, so I don't know who's the man in charge of this commuter app, what's the price, blah blah blah, etc. Okay, so it's limiting you from making mistakes in typing any of these. Okay, because if you type data wrongly, computer systems will look at it as a different item. It will not know Philip with a single L is the same as Philip with a double L, and that you just made a spelling mistake. No, it will not know. It will assume Philip with a double L is somebody else and Philip with a single L is somebody else. I mean, I'm talking about a very minor spelling mistake, but people can make spelling mistakes in a lot of things, right? Okay. And these looks like anyone could make mistakes in them. So that's why we are controlling the input from the person who is going to use this, so that they don't have much of a choice. They have to choose these three, one of these three. And once any one of them is chosen, then it will give you only the option to choose any of these. And you can put in your input message and your error message if they try to type something else. Okay. Now let me look at something else. It's got stuff on.
You were talking about the offset function. Talking about the offset function?
No, we're talking about the indirect offset. I'm not too familiar with, but I could, if someone's interested, we can look at it next week. Okay. I have not used offset so much. Okay. I did look at the video behind this particular sheet, and she explains it quite well. If you want, I can send you all the link. Okay. In fact, she's my guru, you could say. Quite slow, not too fast, and I find her fairly easy to understand. She's got huge amount of Excel videos, by the way. So I will send that link to you all, okay? If you all have any doubts, then I could look at it and we could discuss it together. We could do it that way also. But at least for a few classes, let's just go with the specific functions that are features that we can look at. Now, this is only one type of data validation. I just want to talk about any other type of data validation. Let's say you want to put a date here, okay? 21/3/21, okay? So 21st of March, 21. Now, you can have a data validation, and let's say you want to have all over here dates. Okay, you're going to input one date after the other, and then something else here, obviously some information. You can have data validation for the date, okay? Right, and if you go to LE value, and then see there's a date option, okay? You can put the date, and you can have many options for the date. You can say between, you don't want any absurd dates, right? So let's say, Salita, you're working only in 2021, okay? Start date can be 01/01. I don't know if it's number or 2021, okay? Yeah, and the last date can be, I don't know if that's possible. Let me see. Oh, accepted it. Okay, that, by the way, that is a function. If you say today, it will always give you the current date. Okay, you see that? What is the formula? Equals today and to open bracket, close bracket. Okay. So what I've done in the validation for these columns, I don't know where, somewhere here. Okay. In the validation column, I'm saying the earliest date should be January 1st and the last date should be today, which is whichever day you're opening the system. And it's not the real calendar date that is today. It is the date that is here on your computer that is the day, okay? So as far as the computer knows, this is today, which happens to be okay for me. But some computers will have some weird dates as to, people who don't know how to even set their dates will have wrong date here, okay? So you have to be aware of that. Today Excel will pick up the date, which is today as on the operating system, okay? This is the operating system date. So that sounds like a good validation, right? If you know that the person is entering records only for this year, and the first column is the date or serial number and then the date, you can put a validation for the date column, okay, which makes sure that they will not enter. Let's just go there and see. Okay, that is already there. Let's see if I did, I want to put Christmas Day of 20, okay? Oops. I really need to sleep earlier than this. Okay, it says no, it doesn't match, okay? Does it take 26? No. Does it take 31st?
21.
It doesn't, right? And if I try 1st of Jan 21, it does accept it. So the validation is working. Let's try a date beyond today. Let's say I take my birthday. By the way, guys, remember this. 3, 5. Ajitha, എന്തെങ്കിലും organize ചെയ്യണം കേട്ടോ എൻ്റെ ബർത്ത്ഡേക്ക്.
Actually, like me and Roy, we have agreed that when you come down, we'll take your grand hat and buy you a cup of tea.
When I come down, actually. Okay, see, it will not accept because it is beyond today. Okay, right? On 3rd of May, you will be able to enter 3rd of May. Okay, and on 4th of May also, you will be able to enter 3rd of May, but not before 3rd of May because 3rd of May is not today as per the system defined date. Is that clear? Now that's date validation, which is useful. I guess I don't need to show you all where it can be used. Okay, it can be used almost anywhere. Let's look at some other validation. What are the other validation? Let's say let's go to data validation. Any value, it means anything. Okay. Okay, let's try whole number. Okay, you can have a whole number, which means a number without decimal places. Again, okay, let's just go back to date. Hang on. Okay, let's just go back to date. I'll come back to number, don't worry. Okay, this, you've got other functions, not just between, okay? You've got not between, equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. All these, there is a word for these, yeah? I forget what they are. Connectors, that's not the word, but anyway, all these connectors, they're not functions actually, okay? Anyway, never mind. We know what they're saying. We can use these and put
Operations.
yeah, if you put equal to, I'm presuming there'll be only one column. Yeah, okay, fine. Because it needs only one column, right? Okay. So that means only one date it'll accept, okay? Unless you can put some formula there, which is you can put equal to today, which means every day it'll accept only that day, okay? You got what I mean? Yes, no, right? If you put today here, okay,
It should be equal to
and I put the same date. It's not going to accept one. Okay, it will not accept because the only date it will accept is 6th of April 21. Okay, that's the only date it will accept. Okay, tomorrow it will only accept 7th.
Yes.
Okay, I wonder if there's a way we can check that. Let me just see if I can change the system date. I don't even know how to do it. Okay. No. System settings. Oh.
Control panel.
Now this is Windows operating system. Okay, I'm just going to try and change the date. Okay, here it is. Okay, date and time. How do I change the date? Yeah.
Region, date, and time.
Oh no. Okay, set date and time. Okay. So I'm going to change the date now to let's say 28th April. Okay. So it's showing 28th April here. Okay. And let's close all this. So the system is now, the system date is 28th April. So here it will not accept 6th of April anymore. Okay. All right. Because that's no longer today in the, as far as the system is concerned. Okay. Now I have to put 28th April 21 for it to be accepted. Everyone clear on that? How today works? Yeah. Good. You can hold on the space bar, but those who have only phones cannot do that. Okay, let me just go back and change the date because I don't want to get stuck with that. Today was the 6th, right? Right. Okay. I'm glad we're back. Right. What are the other validations we looked at? We said we will look at numbers, whole numbers. Okay. Let's select all of that. Okay. I'm going to select this whole. Okay. Let me just put a border around it so that I know what I'm looking at. Okay. So now I know this is the area that I'm going to put the validation. Okay, data validation. We've looked at numbers. We've looked at text. Okay, say yes. Okay, now not any value, whole number. And again, between, not between, equal to, any of these functions can be done. That's pretty simple, right? I mean, let's say between, we don't want negative numbers. Okay, so we want to say between 0 and, actually, let me see if we can say, yeah, we can just say greater than or equal to, sorry, okay, 0. Okay, so what happens then when you do something like that is it will not accept any negative numbers, okay? It will accept 0. Okay, it's a date format. Let me just change that to number format, sorry. Number, no, decimal. Okay, it will accept 0. It will accept 1. It will accept 5. It will accept 8. It will accept 1 million. Okay. It will accept anything, but it will not accept minus figures. Okay, because that's the validation we have put in. Is that clear? Okay. So numbers, you got all those conditional operators, I think. You know, maybe that's what they call. I'm not sure. All these are conditional operators, I think. I could be wrong, but so you have that for date as well as for numbers. Then you have even decimals, where you can say decimal, you can even put the number of decimals and stuff like that. I've never really used this, okay? What else is there? Let's see again. Data validation. Decimal is done, list is done, date is done, time. You want text length. Okay, I've never tried that. Okay, again, same thing. Okay, text length should, if you want a particular input, which should always be the same number of characters. You can say that it is exactly equal to, okay, I don't know what, 10 characters. Okay, let's say I need to change this to text now because it's in data. Okay, I'm sorry, it's in number format. Okay, I've just put it as general. It should be okay. So now, if the old values remain there, but if I try to type in anything now, it will say no, because I have to put in exactly 10 characters. I can do that in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It should accept that. No, doesn't accept that. Very good. Was that not 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, why didn't it accept the number? Because I said text. Okay, fine. It will not accept numbers. So if it's less than 10, it will not accept. Okay. It doesn't like my name. Okay. How much is Philip Mohan? I wonder.
Just put space, text and space.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Text and space.
Yeah, it's only for text. This function is this validation is only for text actually.
After text, if you put space, will it take that as?
I'm not hearing you very well. Okay.
Will it take space also after, like Mohan, you put 5 space?
Will it take a space? We can try that. Let's see. I'm not sure. Okay, so I delete one character and I put a space. Okay. Yeah, it does. Okay. It does accept space, so we can reduce one space here. It assumes a space is a correct. It does, but it has to be 10 in total. 1, 2, 3, space 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Those are things you can sort of test before you apply the validation, because if you're going to apply validation, it's primarily so that if you've got a lot of data entry, you don't make mistakes when you're really in crunch time and you've got to finish work. You don't have time to worry about your spelling or whatever limitations that the input sheet may have. Okay, and as much as possible, you try to use data validation so that you reduce the error in input. Okay. We've got text length. Custom, I'm not sure. We could look up custom later. You know, I'm not really sure what that is. I don't know. Let me see what happens to custom. Nothing. Doesn't say anything. Okay. Custom is a formula. I don't know. Maybe you can apply formulas. Let me try it next week and come back to you all about custom. If it's useful, then it's good. Okay. This is data validation, and we did conditional drop-down lists, okay? Drop-down lists are basically one type of data validation, making sure that the person who's entering is limited to inputting what you already have defined, okay? As a division or the apps under a division or a recipe, a particular kind of menu item, menu category, and then what is under the menu category. That was the recipe costing sheet. So we use the formula indirect referencing to a name to go to the second level, okay? Whereas the lady who used the sheet, she used something called, if you look at it, she used something called offset, okay? Now it's not just offset. There is another thing called match here, which is another fairly complicated, at least for me, complicated formula. There's an index match function. So I would rather you'll not worry about this particular formula. And I don't think I should teach you all either because it'll only confuse you all. Indirect is fairly simple.
I have used both of them together, actually.
Okay. What, offset and index, you mean?
Yeah, not offset and index and match.
Yeah, index and match I have used in other places. Basically, it's a cleaner way of VLOOKUp with the much faster,
it's more dynamic than VLOOKUp.
Much faster processing times, and it goes backward and forward also. So yeah, I've used that, but I would say not to use it for the data validation conditional drop-down lists, okay? Because indirect is fairly straightforward. There's no problem. You just need to name that particular thing. And the good thing about it, okay, one more thing I can tell you all is that let's assume each of these was a table, okay? I'm just going to put a space in between. Now these are tables with just one column of data. I'm going to say, what is that? Insert, right? Insert table. I say yes, okay? The same thing I'm going to say for game. Insert table. Yes. Same thing for utility. Data. Insert table. Okay. Now what I've done is I've basically created 3 different tables, okay? For productivity division and game division and utility division, okay? Now, the thing is, let's see what happens if I add a new item here, okay? I can't even think of a name, productivity. What kind of name can I give? None of these names are giving me any hint. Okay, voltage is there, so I'll give ampere, okay? Is it already there, ampere? Okay, now what I want to see is under productivity, whether ampere comes along. You see that ampere has come. See, this is the advantage of a table, okay? If you add an item, it is automatically included in wherever you might have referred to this particular table. Okay, now if let's say I put watts, okay? Now I added one more record, okay? Mind you, the original name is still having only up to here, maybe, I don't know, I will go and check, okay? So now under productivity, I'll get all the way up to watts, okay? So the advantage of converting a database to a table is that if you add a new record, wherever the table is referenced, automatically the last row will be that new record. Okay, and that's a hugely beneficial feature of a table. Okay, so I mean, let's just go to game. Okay, game, of course, at the moment has only up to arcade. Okay, which is fine, which is arcade. But then I want to go to game now, and then I want to add something here called home PC. Okay, and by this particular small heart, it's actually a heart, I think. Okay, that comes down, it shows you which is the last record in the table. Okay, so theoretically I should have home PC here now, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, so you see the benefit of that. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, that's probably the last thing I want to teach in data validation. This kind of drop-down list where you might have to add new divisions or new apps or new whatever, okay? It's better to convert that into a table and you can actually even refer to the table, I think, when you do the, let me just see that, okay? Let's just try that one more time. Can I refer to this whole thing as a table? Data validation, data validation. It's indirect A15. What is A15? Oh, that is this one. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know. Okay, to be honest. Okay, it's automatically increasing the list when you add items because it's a table. There might be some other way to do it. Okay, let me just see one more thing. Since I since I moved it to a table, I don't know how to go to a table name.
Formula, define name.
Formula, is it?
Define name manager, check name manager.
No, not this name. I want to go to maybe table design. Yeah, okay. See, if I go here, then I go to table design.
Table name.
This is the table name. Okay. So I want to change it to, let's say, productivity. Okay. Table product, let's say. And I want to change this to, yeah, I want to change it to table game. I want to change this to table. Okay. I wonder if I can just refer to the table here. Let me just see. Okay. Equals indirect table productivity. Let me try that.
Data validation.
I don't think so. Was it just product I did?
Product.
No. Okay,
TV
maybe indirect maybe. I don't think so. No. Okay, so we'll keep it simple. We'll refer back to indirect A15, right? Yeah, simpler. Okay. So yeah, okay. I was just trying out some other things. So okay, just forget that. The things that don't work out, you erase from your mind, okay? Because it will only confuse you. I don't think I will look at offset and come back to you all, but I will look at the custom validation and see how we could use it for any specific cases that we might want to limit, okay? You know, for example, if you have a column for age, you could use the whole number data validation, okay? All those are supposed to get vaccination above 66, whatever, you know, so you can have a validation that only in this particular list, first batch of vaccinations, only those with age above 60 should come. So you can use, you know, the usage for any of the functions and features of Excel is totally dependent on your workplace, okay? It's not a one size fits all. I mean, you have to figure out the logic and processes of your business and your administrative processes, whatever you have, and see how the Excel features will fit you, okay? That's the best way to even learn Excel. That's how I've learned Excel, mostly through preparing financial reports, my MIS reports, management information reports. I've not done too many operational reports. Ajit is the only one who got me interested in operational reports, and that's how I got that recipe costing sheet and some other things I've done for him, you know. But otherwise, it's almost always been financial month-end reporting that I've worked with. But you learn almost the same formulae, whichever application it is. But to make use of it, it depends on what your work place requirements are. Okay, so we'll stop with data validation today. We looked at tables, how to create tables. Now these are single column tables. Okay, but obviously a normal table will have multiple columns, and we can keep adding to it. You remember we looked at the employee education thing that had a huge number of columns, if you remember. Okay, and this Ajit's menu sheets, not too many columns, but still 4 or 5 each. Okay, so a normal table will have multiple columns. Okay, and a huge number of rows. But you can also convert a single column piece of information to a table for obvious reason. That is, if you add something, it will automatically come in your validation, and somewhere anywhere else also where the table is referred to, it will automatically know that the last record of the table is now changed, and it will include that last record for any information that you might be pulling out of that table. Okay, so that's enough for today, but I'm open to questions now, so please go ahead. I'm going to stop this. No, I'll keep it open. Any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to ask you that, and now you're shown as data validation, and now we are shown as a conditional data validation, right? In the
Dependent drop-down list is called. Yeah.
A dependent drop-down list. Now, I want you to show later on in the recipe sheet when you press a category, and then you have the dependent drop-down list comes, and then down below you have the line items. I think later on, I want you to just explain to us.
Means the table is filled up on the dependent when you.
Yeah, I see in this particular sheet that we're looking at, we've not looked at adding information. Okay, it's basically just these 2 columns, right? What you're talking about is adding information into a certain table, and probably having the first 2 columns as a drop-down list. Is that what you're saying?
Can you just go to the recipe sheet?
Yes, yes.
Going to what? A recipe sheet. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I have to stop this and go. That's about. I don't think I can open it.
Populating the table based on the.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want?
Where I can't see.
You can't see? What do you mean you can't see?
Screen is not shared yet.
Really? It says I am sharing this. What it
Yeah,
says.
it's a delay. Now it's come.
Come now. See, now on top you press salad, and then just go to menu item. Okay, you pick any one, right? Okay, say crispy salad or rock and roll, whatever. Automatically, it is supposed to populate when you press refresh button.
Yeah.
How does that happen? But later on, I want you to.
That's a macro, okay? If you want to see that, I can show it to you, okay?
No, but
wait.
all the line items get picked up. Mixed lettuce.
But there are formulas in each row, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. And as I showed you all earlier, that the zeros went off when I did some cleaning up, okay, in some other field. So here also, I put a lot of cleaning up functions. That is, if D13 is space, then I want a space here. But which is D? D is here, okay? So what I'm saying is, if this is a blank, then I want this to be blank, okay? So actually, this doesn't come first, even though you might think it comes first, okay? This comes first and then this comes, okay? Because this is conditional to this. If you look at it, it says if D9 is empty, then this column also should be empty, okay? That's why there is no 4, because D10 is empty, okay? Right, so like that, we have a lot of cleaning up elements in the formula. You notice here, this is a cleanup element. This is a cleanup element. Wherever I put double quotations close together, what I'm saying is under certain conditions, don't put anything in that space. Okay, just keep it blank. And that's just a good way of, otherwise it would have given error, you see. If I didn't have these, it would give error here because it wouldn't find wasabi or whatever, you know. After 3, it'll run out of recipe items, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just go. I can't do that now. It's a bit too complicated. Okay?
Fine, later.
But yeah, so this is a formula. I'm sorry, it's a macro. So let's just go to macros, refresh. I don't know what I mean. Refresh. Maybe Apparently, I didn't put a name for it. Very good. Okay, it's got all these formulae in here. I myself don't know what they are. Okay, although I did it. So it's doing some things to pick up. There are two macros, macro 2 and macro 3. Okay, and it is doing something to pick up the items and put it there in that sheet. Okay, I don't think it goes anywhere else. Let's see if there's any what do you call it? Advanced filtering there. Possibly there's advanced filtering, and we're picking it up from there. Let's see. Yeah, I think we looked at it last week, didn't we?
Yeah, advanced filtering.
There was some advanced filtering function. Not here. Yeah, here. Okay. See, here is where we. Okay, we got two here because there are two sheets in the. Just this one is for this portion. Okay. And this sheet is for this portion. So what it's doing is it's doing advanced filtering in a different location when I press the refresh button. Okay. When I press the refresh button, I've created a macro which effectively does advanced filtering and puts that information into this place. Okay, let's just change the rock and roll shrimp to wasabi chicken. Okay, and refresh it. Wasabi chicken's got 5 items. Okay, now there should be 5 items there. You saw that? Okay. So this sheet is picking up from there. Let me just go and see. This is B2, right? See, it says if B2 is space, don't do anything. Otherwise, give me B2. And this will be B3. And this will be B4. Okay. B5, B6. B7, it comes against the condition that there's nothing there in B7. If you go to this one, under B7, there's nothing. Okay. So because there's a space under B7 there, I want a space here also. That's what this double quotes mean. Okay. If B7 is a space, put a space here. If not, give me what's written down in B7. That's what I'm saying here. Okay. That's the macro. Okay. I mean, this is not the macro. This is just a formula. But the macro created this information, which I'm using to populate this form. All right.
Done. Okay.
There, you want to look at macros next week? We can look at very simple macros. But the thing is, to use macros, you should have a minimum set of formulae that you're comfortable with. Okay. Things you would do. We've not even gone. We've done sum and subtotal. Okay. But,
macro, we'll do it later. I mean, let's cover the other thing.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of what to do each week and deciding. I don't know. This time I thought I'll do data validation, because it's fairly useful for anyone and everyone. Okay. Data validation. So that's why I use that. And maybe next week we'll look at some other things, and let's see what happens.
Can we look at if functions and all?
We can look at if functions tomorrow. Okay. Sorry, not tomorrow, Tuesday. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. All right. We are recording this, so I'll put it up, but it probably be useful only for those who actually attended. Someone totally new might find it a bit, what do you say, intimidating. All right. Anything else? Anyone else got questions? Nahi? Salita, no questions today. You can press the space bar. I'm still not hearing you.
Unmute.
Okay, I have to ask to unmute.
No, I'm fine today. A lot, much more to grasp. I'll need to practice and see.
Okay, but are you seeing where you can apply it? Because that's what I want all of you all to do.
Yes.
I mean, a person like Ronnie might not have any problem, or even Annie might not have any problem. But some of the others, you got to try and figure out, okay, how can I use this in what I'm doing in my office on a daily basis, you know? And then we can fine tune it. You can call me, or we can just, even one-on-one, we can go over whatever you're doing. Not a problem. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Sanjana, Sanjay, nothing? All good?
All good.
Okay, great. If you need anything, just give me a call and we can arrange separate, and I'll collect money from your dad. Don't worry. I asked him to bring some stuff for me. He didn't do that, fellow. Is he planning to come anytime now?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he can travel even right now from Kuwait. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I spoke to your granddad yesterday. He was very happy to hear from me. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
Good night.
thank you.
God bless
Good night.
everyone.
Yeah, good night.
Thank you, Anju, Annie, Ronnie, Roy.